Susan B. Anthony was born on February 15th, 1820, in Adams, Massachusetts, into a Quaker family that believed in equality and justice. From childhood, she was raised with values that emphasized fairness and respect for all human beings. Her family supported causes like the abolition of slavery and the education of women. Growing up in such an environment, Susan developed a strong sense of right and wrong and an unshakable belief that she could help make the world a better place. As a young girl, she was an excellent student with a sharp mind, but she faced the limitations that society placed on women. While boys were encouraged to pursue higher education, girls were often expected to focus on domestic duties. Susan refused to accept such restrictions. She worked as a teacher for several years and quickly realized that women were paid far less than men for doing the same job. This experience fueled her determination to fight for equal pay and for greater opportunities for women. During the 1840s and 1850s, the United States was going through major social and political changes. The fight to end slavery was gaining strength, and so was the movement for women's rights. Susan became deeply involved in both causes. She met Elizabeth Cady Stanton in 1851, and their friendship and partnership became one of the most powerful alliances in American history. Together, they traveled across the country, giving speeches, organizing events, and challenging the deeply rooted belief that women were inferior to men. Susan was a fearless speaker, even though she often faced hostility. At a time when it was considered improper for women to speak in public, she stood on stages demanding equal rights. She faced insults, heckling, and even threats, but she never allowed fear to silence her voice. She believed that justice was more important than comfort. One of her greatest battles was the fight for women's suffrage, the right for women to vote. At that time, women had no legal say in elections and were excluded from the political process. Susan argued that a true democracy could not exist if half the population was silenced. She and Stanton organized petitions, wrote articles, and spoke to lawmakers demanding change. In 1872, Susan B. Anthony made a bold move that shocked the nation. She cast a vote in the presidential election, even though it was illegal for women to do so. She was arrested and put on trial. The judge fined her $100, but she proudly refused to pay, saying she had committed no crime by exercising her right as a citizen. This act of defiance became a symbol of the suffrage movement and inspired countless others to join the cause. Throughout her life, she also worked tirelessly for other reforms. She supported the abolition of slavery and campaigned for equal rights for African Americans after the Civil War. She pushed for property rights for women and for access to higher education. She believed that equality must exist in every part of society, not only in politics. Despite her tireless work, Susan did not live to see the victory of her greatest cause. She passed away on March 13th, 1906, at the age of 86. 14 years later, in 1920, the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution was ratified, granting women the right to vote. This amendment was often called the Susan B. Anthony Amendment in her honor, recognizing her decades of sacrifice and leadership. Susan B. Anthony's legacy continues to inspire generations. She showed the world that one determined individual can challenge centuries of injustice. She proved that change does not come easily, but with persistence, courage, and unwavering belief in justice, society can be transformed. Her life is a reminder that equality is not given freely, it must be demanded and fought for.